AJ Gilman. Right now I am standing in front of a wall of Bud Light. So I'm in the warehouse of Golden Eagle Budweiser, which is one of the wholesalers for Anheuser Busch InBev products, including Budweiser and clearly Bud Light. Here, Golden Eagle stores products in preparation for transportation to the many retailers and services. Golden Eagle and other similar distributors of Anheuser Busch products are crucial links in the supply chain of Anheuser Busch InBev, which we'll call Anheuser Busch for brevity. As a distributor, Golden Eagle actually purchases products from Anheuser Busch because beer is a cash-on-delivery product, which we will discuss later, and is an important part of the supply chain. Distributors like Golden Eagle market, sell, and transport Anheuser-Busch products to stores and to bars and restaurants, which are on-premise and off-premise accounts that ultimately sell Anheuser-Busch products to the consumer. I chose Anheuser-Busch InBev because it has a very interesting and unique supply chain. For Anheuser, from dirt to dirt means literally from growing its ingredients, including grains, yeast, and other ingredients, all the way to recycling cans and containers used for its products to be reused again. It currently operates 12 breweries throughout the continental United States and has 500 wholesalers, including operating some of its own distribution centers through many agricultural facilities, and helps manufacture aluminum cans and other recycled materials to help package its products, such as what I'm sitting on. It has been a leading aluminum recycler for more than 30 years. Although it's a Belgian company, it is based in St. Louis and is a leading American beer brewer, brewing some of the world's best-selling beers, namely Bud Light. Anheuser-Busch recognizes the importance of having committed individuals who are dedicated to being the best. They have made a commitment to being corporately responsible and environmentally friendly. And this can be seen throughout their supply chain. Anheuser-Busch InBev is an international company. However, its core values and the core competencies still stem from the original Anheuser-Busch that started in St. Louis in the 1800s. In analyzing Anheuser-Busch's supply chain, it becomes quickly apparent that the culture of the company and emphasis on people it impacts all has to do with every aspect of the best way to realize where Anheuser-Busch InBev is today is to understand where it all started. So let's take a minute and look at their history, heritage, and where the beer all began. Anheuser-Busch began with Eberhard Anheuser becoming part of the Bavarian Brewery in St. Louis, despite the fact that he had no real previous experience brewing in 1852. By 1860, he had bought out all of the other investors, and the brewery was changed to E. Anheuser and Company. In 57, Adolphus Busch made his way to St. Louis. An immigrant, by the time he was 21, Busch had a partnership in the brewing supply business. It was through this venture that he and Mr. Anheuser met. And then later, he was introduced to Anheuser's daughter, Lily. In 1861, Adolphus Busch and Lily were happily married, and Busch purchased half ownership in the company. In 1876, Busch created an American lager and coined the name Budweiser to appeal to German immigrants while still being able to be pronounced by Americans. In '79, the company was renamed Anheuser Busch to recognize Adolphus' efforts. More recently, on June 13th, 2008, InBev, a Belgian company, acquired Anheuser Busch for $52 billion, creating the company we know today as Anheuser Busch InBev. Today, Anheuser Busch InBev is one of the world's largest brewers and one of the top 5 consumer companies in the world. Anheuser Busch brewed 355,430,000 hectoliters of beer in 2012. A hectoliter is about 26 gallons, approximately. So, yeah, that's a lot. And 70,000 hectoliters more than the leading competitor, in fact. In 2013, it generated $43,195,000,000 in revenues across North America, Mexico, Latin America, Europe, and parts of Asia. Anheuser produces over 200 beer brands and currently holds a 47.6% share of U.S. beer sales to retailers. Among its products are Budweiser and Bud Light, which I am sitting on. The best-selling beer in the United States and third best-selling beer in the world. However, Anheuser-Busch's success cannot be attributed solely to the quality of their beer or to their heritage, or even its assertive and revolutionary strategy in the market. The success of Anheuser is largely due to the efficiencies in its supply chain. Here with a whole lot of here in Ichiban, which is one of Anheuser's international. Anheuser's supply chain begins with dirt, literally growing and acquiring the ingredients to brew its beer. Anheuser strives to maintain consistency and high quality in each of its ingredients, and therefore very carefully oversees all of its sources and anything that it itself grows. All Anheuser products, everything here, is a combination of 6 key ingredients that are combined during the brewing process to help create various types of beers. The first of these ingredients is barley malt. This is made by soaking and drying malting barley. To make sure that this barley is ideal, Anheuser has a breeding program to help make the right varieties. In addition, its experts visit over 2,000 fields, primarily in Idaho and Montana, to inspect the barley for a preliminary QC. The second ingredient is hops, which comes from the hop vine. Hops is used to add flavor to the beer, often considered the spice of the beer. Anheuser exhibits some vertical integration through its ownership of its own hop farms in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, and the Hallertau region of Germany. It also imports hops from Europe and the Pacific Northwest. In order to create lighter beer, Anheuser uses other adjunct grains in their products. Among these are rice and other grains. In fact, Anheuser-Busch is the largest purchaser of rice in the United States. And it does mill some of its own supply at its facilities in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Another and the most famous component of beer is yeast. The yeast used by Anheuser-Busch is highly proprietary. However, it can be said that The yeast used in Budweiser comes from the very same strain used by Anheuser Busch to brew the very first case of Budweiser ever. Same beer. After 200 years now? After these ingredients are amassed, they are transported to one of the 12 breweries in the United States. It is here that Anheuser brews its beers and bottles and packages them for distribution to the wholesalers. Each brewery in the United States makes a certain group of Anheuser products, and each one is overseen by a brewmaster. The Anheuser brewing process has 7 key steps: milling, mashing, straining, brew kettle, fermentation, beechwood aging, and finishing. This whole process is overseen by the brewmaster, who ensures that each step of the process is executed properly. In addition, brewmasters serve as a very efficient form of quality control, tasting the beer at multiple points during the brewing process and collaborating with the other brewmasters to ensure uniformity and consistency throughout their products by tasting it and comparing it to currently packaged beer. Anheuser then bottles, or cans, its product in preparation for distribution. Like most steps in early supply chain, Anheuser uses a combination of third-party suppliers and company-owned sources for the materials for its bottles and cans. It sources from Metal Container Corp and also sources from Longhorn Glass Corp for its plant in Houston. However, Anheuser Busch Recycling Corp helps to provide packing materials and contribute to the sustainability of its supply chain. Once this has taken place, the beer is palletized and put on a truck to be transported to one of the many distribution centers around the world. Anheuser utilizes multiple modes of transportation in order to transport its products. In fact, it is one of the largest transporters through truck and rail in the United States. In order to manage these logistics, which is not its core competency, Anheuser outsources to 3PLs. One of these 3PLs is Coyote Logistics, who I was privileged with speaking to one of their higher level people. Coyote is responsible for organizing many shipments of Anheuser products in the United States, with the goal of reducing costs and transportation inefficiencies. One way, and a key way, that this can be acquired is by collaborating with other suppliers to prevent trucks from being less than full, thereby reducing costs and being more sustainable. Come to the point in Anheuser's supply chain where the packaged, bottled beer reaches the distributor's warehouse. And that is where we have been filming. So now we're going to take you through some of the inner workings of a Golden Eagle Budweiser plant and take you through some of the processes, details, and aspects of shipping.
So this isn't, alright. This is the warehouse. This is, I was ready to go. I'm just ready. We do our own transfers between facilities. So like, once a week, we get a transfer from Tucson. So like, it's all based upon, you know, when you pay for shipping, like you get it from someone else, they'll ship your name more because that's a part of the distance travel. So a way for us to cut off shipping costs, we have it already in Tucson because it's cheaper to ship from AB to Tucson since there's a larger volume going that way. The truck every Monday comes to Cascaran and then it comes to us. They give us product that we need, and then if they need any product, we send it back down with a transfer truck. So this is marked with Tucson, so these pigs will go to Tucson. This power will go to Tucson. This will probably go to Casa Grande and Casa Grande and Casa Grande.
I figured that's a lot of Bud Light.
Yeah. And it's all based on demand.
Demand in that area.
Yeah.
So do you do picking where you keep stock in the warehouse?
We do.
And then you assemble it to order?
Yeah, like for instance, all of this and our inventories are done by Product Supply in Tucson. They handle all the inventories for all the branches. So they're the ones that actually make the order to what we need, or do we need anything, or well, instead of ordering maybe Casa Grande has some extra, so maybe we could just transfer from Casa Grande to Tucson or to.
So in order to help keep your inventory levels stable, you try to transfer inventory in between your warehouses.
Yes.
To help reduce excess stock, and then balance out like a lack of.
Exactly. We have a few people that's all they do.
So these are their ASNs. So what we do is we scan these with an RF gun, and they'll go immediately into our inventory. These are only on Anheuser Busch deliveries. So when we get Odell deliveries, here Nevada deliveries, we have to manually key them into our inventory.
So only Anheuser Busch can do that, and from what I understand, the reason it can go directly into your inventory is because it's a COD product.
Well, yeah, as soon as they weigh and scale and leave the property at Anheuser Busch, we've paid for it. So it's already out of our account.
And that's why they don't have a need for reverse logistics, because you can't return it, can you?
Nope. So this is what Anheuser Busch gives us. So what we do is when we go through this, we'll go off of what they say they sent us, and then we'll check it off. We'll check to make sure the seal is accurate, because if the seal's been busted off, then we can make a claim saying, hey, this seal was gone, this product wasn't here on this truck. Same thing down here, once we deliver and I acknowledge that all these things were on the truck, then I'll put my signatures on it, a copy goes to the driver, I keep a copy, and then all I do is I go into the system, in the WM, warehouse management system, and we use particularly Softion, but my experience has been in Manhattan as well as Softion for WM systems. And then we print it out, scan it to our accounts payable department in Tucson, and then just file it over here. So if something comes up later, whether it's code dates or something else, we'll be able to go back. An example of that is we had a quarter barrel Bud Light that went out to the trade that was refused because there was rust on the top of it and rust in the collar where they attached the keg to. So I made a claim through our apartment. She asked me, when did you get it? I need to know the BOL. And that's how I was able to trace it back, was based on the code date. So I was able to go through such a consumable items in this warehouse. The items can go out of code anywhere between 50 and 180 days, or even up to a year. Like Stella is a year for code, but you have some kegs that go out of code in 50 days, so it's very time consuming, very, very time.
What's the normal life of a keg when you get it in? Does it vary a lot?
It varies a lot. It depends on who makes it. It depends on what it's made of. It depends on how it's aged. All those things. So you can have a keg anywhere from 50 days to 180 days.
But the shelf life of the keg, we'll say, is 60 days. You don't get it with 60 days. You get it with maybe 50 of the 60 days or 10 days of it. Okay.
10 days of it. I mean,
Okay.
I've had beer that literally was brewed last night arrive in my warehouse today. So it's been kind of cool. But it's that time sensitive that they get it to you as soon as they brew it.
So
we normally do not wait for items to go dead in the trade. What we have is we call what's called a hot wall. So we have a mom and pop person, let's say, and we have a Walmart. So you have an account where you know that you've got less than 21 days on some Budweiser 12-pack cans. So you're going to take them out of the mom and pop place and you're going to replace them with fresh. So now you know you're not, because when you're looking at your sales, you're going to look at your sales and go, I got 10 of these, I only sell 5 a month. They're going to die before I can sell these into this account. So for some customers going to walk in, open the door, grab the item, buy it. It's going to go dead. So what that salesperson will do is they'll bring it back to the warehouse. They'll call it what's called a pickup and exchange, a P&E. So what they'll do is they'll take a fresh code, put it back into that account. They'll bring it back, and then they'll put it on what's called a hot wall, which is over here. Designated area that gets counted every day, gets a code date every single day. So then the Walmarts of the world that goes through 300 12-pack cans of Budweiser.
Take that because it's going to be
gone.
It's going to be gone.
That's why it's so time sensitive, and that's why you have to be accurate. You have to watch your check code dates. I have to move my items, so once a week I do code date inventory in this warehouse. Anything with 35 days or less, I move here. So we have visibility to it, so it doesn't die or get post-coded out in the warehouse. It'll always be here. Same thing with kegs, same exact concept.
So, do you know what pick ticket?
Yep, right here. So what our pick tickets look like, it's a little bit on the, we're in the process of switching this over. So right now, Tucson is the only one that's live with WM, full WM, Warehouse Management System, software. So we have what's called a partial
It's still manual?
Still a very manual process, but and I count them as one of our RAS system, which is our routing accounting system, and then our WM is our inventory system. There's 2 different systems. So you have to go to 2 different websites. I describe them as an old married couple. They don't talk until midnight, once a day. It's the only time they talk. So my inventory, like right now, my inventory, if you go into one report and go into a query, I will actually look. It'll say based on yesterday's sales, this is what your inventory is. So it could show me having something, and I really don't have it because of yesterday's sales.
Hey, we're still in Flagstaff, and we just came from the Golden Eagle Budweiser warehouse. We are now in the docks at Albertsons, which is one of the retailers that is serviced by Golden Eagle. And we're with Michael Marino. He's going to help discuss what happens when the product moves from the warehouse to here.
Well, like in any good supply chain management, it goes from the manufacturer to the distributor and then the distributor to the retail outlet, which in turn sells it to the customer. When Golden Eagle Distributing brings their beer in, it's a result of an order from the salesman, like they talked about earlier. The salesman will come into the store with their laptop, based on a bunch of parameters already inputted, will come in and order their beer and their product, which will be delivered at these docks. They're already palletized and shrink wrapped and invoiced. And they will unload their trucks and stage them right in this area for the receiver, whose name is Frank, and we have our liquor manager here as well. And what they will do is they will bring them in, and Frank, the receiver, will take the invoices, and he will scan the invoices and then scan the product and count each product to make sure that it matches the invoice. They will also take it, and when they scan it, it goes into Albertsons computer database, which matches the pricing to make sure that the pricing on the invoice of Golden Eagle matches the pricing that Albertsons has. Pricing Albertsons has comes from what they call a corporate call from a salesman that will go to the corporate headquarters and establish promotions, pricing, sales, and other programs that they will run either statewide or regionally for warehouses. They will scan these items in, they will verify them. If it all balances out, then the receiving clerk will issue a check or an electronic draft to the driver who will make note of that in his system, and then the driver will pull away and make room for another truck, and after the driver stages it, he'll move it on down to where the beer cooler is, and that way the driver will then rotate the beer in stock and fill whatever is needed to be filled and rotate it to the shelf, and then put the overstock or the backstock into an area designated for Budweiser products and Golden Eagle products. If there's any displays to be built, they usually bring a merchandiser or what they call a quality control clerk, and they will come in and build any displays necessary. Most of the time as well, the salesman will come in and he will be here and he will make sure that the delivery is delivered, that everything works the way it's supposed to be.
Anheuser Busch InBev has a very amazing supply chain. The key to its success is their identification and utilization of their core competencies, which are brewing and, to a degree, the growth of inputs for their beers. Anheuser Busch has been brewing for 150 years, actually longer, so it has a major competitive advantage and uses this experience to maintain a very diverse product line so it can cater to multiple markets. I had a few recommendations that could benefit Anheuser Busch InBev's supply chain. My first recommendation is that they should increase the vertical integration of their growing processes. While they do oversee a lot of the farms and other plants when making inputs, they already have experience in growing programs as well as some of their own facilities. So I feel it wouldn't be too difficult to vertically integrate. It would also help increase their visibility into that process and help maintain the quality that they want for their products. I also think that they should require all the warehouses of their wholesalers to have warehouse management software and local recognition technology. Not only to help increase the efficiency of these warehouses, but also because this technology helps to give Anheuser Busch InBev information that it can use for forecasting, which is really, really useful. To help motivate this implementation, I feel there should be an incentive, because the truth is, what gets paid gets done. I also think that while Anheuser Busch operates 12 breweries in the continental United States, I believe they should open breweries in China and or Germany. China, because currently the beer market's relatively untapped there, save for snow beer, which there in China it's actually the largest selling beer in the world because it has that untapped market. I feel that with their product diversity, Anheuser-Busch could capitalize on that and very easily gain a market share. I also like the idea of opening a brewery in Germany because it would help reduce transportation costs tremendously to Europe and would give them proximity to their facilities in the Hallertau region. I would like to thank Chris Pickett from Coyote Logistics, thank you. I'd like to thank Peter Kramer and Chris Pickett from Anheuser-Busch. I'd like to thank Joel Ybarra and all the wonderful folks down at the Golden Eagle plant. You're awesome. And I'd like to thank Roger Eskridge from Albertsons for letting us into your back room, which is pretty cool. I'd also like to thank Michael Marino for taking us through the process at Albertsons and providing some insight into the workings of Golden Eagle Budweiser and its facilities. And I'd like to thank you for taking your time to learn about this amazing company. Thank you.